go ahead and get started. This is Wednesday, December the 10th, 6 o'clock, the North Township Advisory Board meeting. First item on the agenda this evening is the approval of the November 19th, 2025 minutes. Members were supplied with a copy prior. There's been a copy posted and one at the back of the room. Do we have any changes or amendments to the minutes? No? Okay.
I move to accept the minutes as printed.
I second.
Have a motion made and seconded. All in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
3-1.
Passes 3-0. All right. Next would be equipment update.
I think so we got both Lucas's devices, but the rest of the equipment, the cot and load system is in and mounted, the radio is in and mounted. We're still waiting on the heart monitor. That's the last piece that we're waiting on. And I thought
Should ship today.
the heart monitor, we believe, shipped today. So by the first of the week, we should have a mount and stuff to put in it, and that ambulance will be back 100% again.
So you wanna do the,
Chad?
Yeah.
Come and do a demonstration with the Lucas.
let's see if I can turn this.
Lay down on the drum.
Yeah.
You said I could use you. Alright, so the Lucas here, I'll take you over so they can see better.
There you
Oh, well, I
go.
just turned the,
Oh, you turn the camera.
Yeah, I didn't volunteer you on camera.
Do you slip the orange thing underneath them for?
So you would lift, while you're doing CPR, you stop briefly, slide this underneath them, like 10 seconds is all you need. Then this locks in like that. Then the person's here, you just push this down until it touches their chest, centered, actually I gotta turn it on first, centered in between, just below their armpits. And then just slide that down. If you go too far, it will alarm, so you can't go that far because it won't work.
Right.
So if you bring it back up just a little bit, and then you got continuous or 30 to 2 compressions. It does that for you while you're doing other things.
Fantastic.
which,
Pretty simple. It's got some different things. It's got another strap that goes around the neck that holds this from sliding down too far.
Oh, good, yeah,
So-
yeah.
Excellent.
Everybody but one person's been through the training at this time for it, so
Good, good.
they're on both rigs, in service, ready to go.
And I told him we thought we were gonna have a training scheduled maybe next month.
Yeah, I'm just
So,
waiting for the new rep to get back with me on that.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
anything else on equipment that we need to do an update on?
The fan that you guys approved is ordered. It's not here yet, but it's ordered, and I got an invoice, so that's all taken care of, and I think that's it.
All right, next item is additional appropriation hearing.
So you should each have a copy there just for your own viewing, and then I've got the copy there for you all to sign that's at the front of the table. So this was a hearing to request, since we had not previously budgeted to spend any of the rainy day funds, but would like to use the rainy day funds for the purchase of the Lucas devices. The appropriation would be for the rainy day fund from the capital outlays category, capital outlays line item. We're requesting $36,030.27. This was advertised in the pilot twice, well ahead, so that way the public would be aware that we were holding this hearing this evening.
Is that the thing we didn't do a year or two ago when we tried to spend on the rainy day?
No, that was because we were trying to shift money from a rainy day fund to another fund, and you can't do that. We have to actually spend the money out of the rainy day fund rather than moving from rainy day to like the fire fund or the general fund or anything like that.
And we don't have to be more specific than saying it's capital outlays? Okay.
No, because it's designated in a category and line item, not a definition of what it is that we're purchasing.
I move that we adopt and approve this resolution 2025 number 7, additional appropriations.
I second the motion.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded for the additional appropriation approval. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay,
3-0.
3-0.
So the next step is that then I will submit that.
Some of the stuff that you want to.
I will submit this to the state. They've been very quick. Last year when we submitted it, I believe it was the same day that they issued the order. I think it's more of, is the money in the fund available to use? Rather than, I don't know that it actually goes in front of anybody, so I should hopefully have something stamped. But I did put a contingency backup plan in place, just in case they would say, no, we're not going to approve that. Which we will get to on the next item.
All right, next item up for consideration is line item appropriations.
It's a long list. So obviously, first year in the territory, there's been a lot of learning curve of where money is being spent and how much. I mean, for instance, the ALS assists have just been well over and above what we thought we were going to be doing for that. So to start, transfer number 1, I'd like to move from the Territory General Fund Personal Services, the overtime category. I'd like to transfer $7,500 over to the payroll tax line item, where we are overdrawn on that right now. So, which this has to do with the quarterly compensation that we've been doing for the volunteers. That depleted that line item much faster than we had originally anticipated. So that would bring, if we transfer $7,500, that would bring the amount available in the payroll tax line item to $4,716.02, and that would be sufficient to continue through the remainder of December with payroll without being overdrawn. Do you want me to go through all of them first, or do you want to do them one by one?
I think we'll go through all of them.
Okay. Transfer number 2, also Territory General Fund Personal Services. Would like to transfer $2,950 from the volunteer officers category to the volunteer firefighters category. This is Mr. Davenport, Mr. Barber, I talked to both of you about this because you had looked into the minutes for me, thank you. Per the fire contract for 2025 that was signed, there was language in there that we were going to pay the car and clothing allowance and a volunteer compensation, rather than it being a combined. So we opted to pay out per the contract language, because that's the appropriate way to handle it. So that left us $2,950 over on the volunteer firefighters line item. So in transferring $2,950, that will just bring that to a flat 0. For the Territory General supplies under the communication line item, I'd like to pull $3,299.60 from that fund over to the Medical Supplies Fund, which is now at a negative $3,299.60. So that would bring that to 0. This was when we had to purchase all of the medical equipment because it was turned over with the settlement agreement. When we had to replace all of that, that was roughly $7,000. to replace all of that equipment. So that left us where we would have likely been just fine. Now we're a little over on that line item. Transfer number 4 from the Territory General Fund Services and Charges, I'd like to move from utilities, $6,569.67 over to the maintenance contracts line item. Again, this is in response to turning over equipment and opting for ProCare for some of the devices that would fall under maintenance contracts. So we are over on that line item that was originally budgeted. Let me see here, I can tell you what the number was. If my computer will pull it up.
I'm curious how we ended up with in excess of some money in utilities.
We always have gone a little bit cautious on utilities because during the winter months, it sometimes can be extremely expensive to heat the building. And then we had upped it some because if we were going to have 24/7 coverage at some point, and then the lights are going to be on constantly. So we gave ourselves some wiggle room for that. I believe that may be one of the line items that we trimmed back for next year's budget, since we saw how much we were going to be over. So the maintenance contracts, we had originally budgeted at $11,500. So without adding the ProCare on there, we would have been well under that.
Gotcha.
For the transfer number 5, okay, well, don't sign those versions because I'm gonna have to reprint because it's listed as Township General. It's not, it's Territory General for all of these items. So this was just a form I followed. So from the Territory General Fund, supplies, subcategory fuel, I'd like to pull $4,421.30 to transfer it to the Territory General Services and Charges miscellaneous line item, which is now at a negative $4,421.30. So that would bring it to zero. We've been paying the EMSMC for the billing for their services. I've been paying it out of miscellaneous because there hasn't felt like there's been a great other line item to classify it under. So I've used it for that as well as, I think that there was something else recently. Let's see. Oh, the ESO reporting software for the fire department, which could potentially also have gone under maintenance contracts somewhat, but it's not really maintenance, so I didn't really want to categorize it as a maintenance item. So I felt it was better encompassed under the miscellaneous. So that would bring the miscellaneous line item to 0 in transferring that. Line item number 6 from the Territory General Fund Services and Charges. In the insurance line item, I'd like to transfer $1,200 to the ALS Assist line item, which right now is at a 0 from the last line item appropriation that we had done. However, I know that we've had a few paramedic assists since then, so I anticipate that we likely may still be paying that yet in December, so I'd like the funds there to do it. So that's more of a preemptive. Excuse me. Sorry.
So ALS Assist would come out of the Territory General?
Yes,
Okay.
versus,
Versus the territory budget.
no, I'm sorry. All of these, every single one of these, when I printed it, it says Township General for 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's not. All of them are Territory General. So I'll be printing new copies for you guys to sign.
5, 6, 7, and 8.
Yes, they are all Territory General.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yep.
Sorry for the confusion.
Territory.
Right.
So yes, it is the Territory General Fund.
I'll hear better next.
Transfer number 7 from the Territory General Fund supplies, the clothing and gear category. I'd like to move $5,896 from that fund over to the small equipment fund, which is presently at a negative $5,896 to bring that to zero for the end of the year. The most recent purchase for the small equipment was the fan that we had purchased that brought that to the negative balance. And transfer number 8 from the Territory General Fund Personal Services line item, Personal Services subcategory. I'd like to move $150,000 to the Territory General Capital Outlays Equipment Replacement line item. This would be for paying the cot, load system, heart monitor, and the contingency of the 2 Lucas devices, just in case we were to run into an issue with the appropriation with the state from the rainy day fund. So it would cover both of those, just on the off chance that it wouldn't be approved.
Okay, thanks for going through those. Does anyone have any specific questions?
I move that we accept and adopt resolution 2025-8.
Have a motion to accept the resolution as presented?
What would be the title, reappropriation or transfer, just
No, they're line item appropriations.
line item appropriations?
I second the motion.
And the second, all in favor signify by saying aye or yay.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. And then we have to sign a paper.
I'm gonna print a new copy.
Very good.
Can you go grab it for me?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Next is the anti-nepotism policy.
Yes, which I had sent over the drafted version to you of the new policy that our attorney had put together. So that copy is there. I wasn't sure if there was any discussion that you guys had on that, that you'd like to discuss amongst each other, since you've reviewed it independently, but.
So we should sign the one in our pile, or is?
That would be for the attestation, which would come after the policy. So let's do the policy first.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then do the attestations that, yes, we've abided by said policy.
Gotcha.
So there, with the anti-nepotism policy, there really weren't stark changes made to it. It was mostly updating it, making it a little more current, a little more readable, just for the general person to be able to pick something up and understand it. And put some protections in there now that we have some full-time employees and some of them may be related, that we're protected in that realm as well.
I move that we adopt and approve the anti-nepotism policy.
I'll second that. Everyone had a chance to go through it before. And the other issue with Chad worked out with this.
Yes, Chad is at present not an assistant chief.
Okay, all right. All right, all in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, that will pass.
And then, yes, I've got an attestation there for each of you that, like, yes, you each independently there. So double check the name on it. I think I put it at the appropriate spot, that they have each of your names on there.
Today's the 10th.
Yes.
Nothing else for us to sign?
And that's just for me.
Yep, that's just yours. You should each have your own.
You should have one for you
Yep.
too,
It should be in your pile.
in your pile.
Oh,
Yep.
beg your pardon.
Should have your name on it. Right there.
Got it.
Okay.
So just put that one.
Thank you.
All right. 2026 salary ordinance?
Salary ordinance. So at present, I've got on there the board, the trustee, I've got the part-time employees, which are set right now at 14 to 16, depending on qualifications. We could look at modifying that if you guys wanted to for part-time. And then I left the full-time blank because I don't know if you guys will want to discuss anything with the territory board about, do we want to do a cost of living adjustment for next year, anything like that. So I think we could give ourselves some grace there and say it's going to be 49,000 plus, depending on qualifications. Subject to cost of living adjustment or something along those lines that we could then set in after the territory meets at the beginning of the year. Or we don't, I mean, that we don't have to, I just wanted to leave it open.
We didn't really specify COLA in there, did we? When we advertised it? But,
Sorry.
so we would probably be willing to review that after we operated for a year.
Okay, like
That-
in
that-
July,
That's when, yeah, I would think.
okay.
Does that sound reasonable?
That's up to you. So the last firefighter EMT that you hired has started fire school. So assuming that she passes it in 5 or 6 months, when that's done,
Yeah.
obviously I'll be approaching you guys to see if you're willing to bring her to equal the other two firefighter EMTs pays with same and equal qualifications. The next step after that would be about that time frame, hoping to look at an advanced move. The advanced class will be ending the middle of May or towards the end of May. And if we have enough people, that would be my goal. I think the benefit way outweighs holding up and dragging our feet to go that direction. So Plymouth had talked like they were gonna start giving medic assists again, and that hasn't come to fruition. And I think that what it would cost us and equipment-wise to go advanced, we would save in ALS assists. So I think it would save us in the long run. Even if the equipment cost us $10,000 to get, there's a couple pieces. There's something called an IO or an interosseous. That's enough, close enough. It's where if they can't get an IV on somebody that's unresponsive, they drill into either the shoulder bone, into the marrow, or into the shin bone, and you can start an IV like that, and that drill's like a $3,000 tool to start, for one for each ambulance. So
And that's something that an advanced EMT
do.
can do.
So after the initial cost of that startup, you know, it's not a huge maintenance cost to be advanced over basic.
Other than increased salaries.
You've got the increased salary.
There's gonna be the increased
sure.
salaries.
So I guess if that would make you guys comfortable at a year mark to reevaluate those pays, I mean, you can
Well,
always.
and if everything is all kind of going to come full circle at that year mark, I mean, that
Yeah.
does make some sense then if we're looking at the potential for advanced at the same time, that,
Yeah. So that would make sense to me.
Yeah. So probably June, July. Given that someone passes.
We're gonna try and do advanced, I think we need to start in probably about April with the paperwork.
Yeah. Yeah, but that doesn't
No,
have
I'm
to
just,
have anything to do with payroll.
no, not with that, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
the start of that, we probably gonna want to.
It's gonna
start
take
sometime
several
around
months.
April with paperwork and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
So yeah, I think that's a good plan, to make that year mark the goal and reevaluate then.
So on their anniversary dates, so to speak, is that what you're saying?
Well, not all of their anniversaries are the same.
yeah,
Right.
that would just be
And so if we do it on anniversary dates, then we're gonna be looking at,
constant adjustments, and yeah, so I mean, I would say let's set it at for July.
Well, that's gonna be,
For us
that's gonna
to-
coincide with your budget period
Right.
for the following year,
Mhm.
so that would make sense.
Yep.
to
Yeah.
Yes,
Do that.
And so some of the employees may not have been here for a year at that point. Okay, that's just the way the cards fell.
it's just moved.
so let me see if I understand what we're talking about. That it's, in my mind, there are two ways to improve or increase compensation. One would be relative to the COLA, or cost of living adjustment. And the second would be for improving themselves, taking more classes or getting higher level certifications, that sort of thing, or getting fire when you only had EMT stuff, that sort of thing. So are we thinking that both of those are still on the table?
I would think so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And so,
And I think that would be on more of an as-needed basis than when somebody gets that level of certification, like passing the fire 1 and 2 school, then when that happens, then it's approached and handled at that point in time, rather than that being a set, like, we will handle this during the budget season, like we would cost of living adjustments.
So in my experience working in the police world, I think their salary ordinances had, just for sake of using it, a level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, whether that's patrolman, sergeant, assistant chief, chief, detective. And so that all of those had a pay rate. So in our world, that might be like a firefighter has this pay rate, a firefighter or an EMT has this pay rate, a firefighter EMT has this pay rate, and then a firefighter advanced EMT has this pay rate. And so those are all set, whether they're $1,000 apart, $3,000 apart, $500, whatever you guys say. And then all three of those lines, if you're gonna do a 3% cost of living raise, all three of those lines get a 3%. And so that's set across the board.
I like that.
that makes sense to me too. So, without taking the time to use my calculator right now, I think we have a few people that have been hired on. And if we consider that, I'm getting a 2.8% raise this year from Social Security, isn't that wonderful? Well, anyway, I think maybe would it be appropriate to start a pattern where the month of your hire gets so many twelfths, the number of months you work in that year up through December, then you get that many months of percentage of the COLA that the federal government utilizes.
Okay, let me just put this out there, and this is not just for me, this is for future trustees. Then I think you need to increase the trustee compensation line item if you want to do that.
I don't
Because
think
that's a
so.
lot of
That's a
work.
mess.
I think that, in my opinion, it should be a straight across the board. When you make your salary ordinance, you vote to make that raise, and it's that percentage of increase, and that's the pay for the year.
Okay.
Which we've established the pay starting out, and we haven't been operating that long.
Right.
Right.
So I think that if we go through June, July, get towards what we're gonna do for budget, we can, at that point in time, address a COLA. I mean, we can get those figures from, you know, the government.
Yep.
For the last X amount of months and go from there. But to do it all at one time makes sense, as opposed to trying to
Now, if,
portion it out. That would be kind of a nightmare.
That would be a nightmare.
and in my opinion, I think
Heard
that,
loud and clear.
Yeah. Good thought, though.
in my opinion, I think that if you wanted to do something for the two gentlemen that have been working for 7 months or 6 months, I don't think that you want to switch their pay rate mid-year, do you?
Why?
I'm just asking. It's just gonna change the tax figures and the withholdings and all that stuff. And maybe that's not an issue.
I don't think it would be an issue right now. Once we had more employees, it would be this is something we probably likely need to
So we
shift
need
at
to
some
get
point and do,
That
yeah.
shifted to January 1, this is what the pay going
So that way
for
it's
that year.
projected for the following year, what
Yeah,
that would
if
look
it
like.
was 20 employees, it'd be a
Yeah.
different story.
Because otherwise you're gonna vote on a salary ordinance and then in July or something,
If
you're
we
gonna
change it.
amend the salary ordinance.
Yeah. Which can be done,
Yeah,
I mean,
it can.
especially for our first year in. But then potentially we talk in July about, okay, let's look at this cost of living adjustment and project it for 18 months.
Right.
To get us through to the next,
And then that's
Yeah.
usually-
yep,
I'm gonna let it wait. Till July.
Okay.
so then at this point, we want the full-time employees to be 49,000 to 50,000, depending on qualifications.
What was the range that was, you said starting at something?
47.5
I think.
and up, I think is what you had done
Yeah.
most recently.
I don't think you need to put anything in there.
Then
So,
we have to have a number in there.
right, but you have two numbers. You have current employees of 49,000 for a level 1 employee, or I guess if we need to change our employment policy down the road to read that, but
Right.
an
Well, I mean, I almost feel like
EMT and a firefighter EMT.
it needs to be, okay, full-time employee because there's basic EMT, which would potentially have started at the 47.5.
But they didn't give,
I understand, but if we go through another hiring process and we hire somebody else on, then we've got it in there.
okay,
So
I can buy that.
that would be okay. Okay, so full-time employee, basic EMT, 47.5. And please feel free to speak up because I'm gonna print a new version of this. So if you wanted any discussion about something different. And then we've got full-time employee who's an advanced EMT is 49,000. And then we've got full-time employee who is advanced EMT slash firefighter.
Wouldn't wanna do that, you'd wanna do EMT firefighter
Okay, so
At that-
full-time employee EMT slash firefighter.
for right now.
Okay, would be the 50,000.
And I don't know that you'd even add your advanced in there yet.
And then, okay, well, I've got an advanced EMT line item in there since she was
I'm
hired.
an advanced firefighter,
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
unless you can put advanced firefighter TBD. I don't know if that's.
No.
Sounds good.
And then I think that we should put in there administrative assistant because of the work that Chad has been doing, that he's being compensated for that as well.
Agreed.
So that would be, what did we determine for that, Chad?
I don't know. 7.
Is that what it was? Let me go back and see if I can find it. It's gonna be in the minutes somewhere, I just gotta find it.
7.
Dang it. I don't think so, I think he's right, he's close. Okay, that was maybe in July that it was discussed. Let's see. Operator, amount, budget prep. There we go, 7,000. And that still feels sufficient at this point in time? Okay. So we'll be. Okay. Any discussion about any of those numbers?
Well, you just, you put the number like 47.5 and then like a plus or something.
No, I've separated it out as its own administrative assistant.
Right.
Because otherwise, we've got 2 employees that are at that $50,000 level. So to put a plus after it would almost imply that they would both be getting that compensation, so.
I guess what I was wondering, I thought I heard you say that you were talking about assigning a number to different combinations, right?
Which is what I've done.
And that, well, I guess what I'm saying is, what I'm asking is, that's the bottom number. If we,
Okay.
for example, if we get somebody in with tons of experience and they come in with those qualifications, and they might get bumped up a little bit. Or are we saying that that number is what we will offer people with those qualifications?
My question back is, are you referring specifically to the administrative assistant
No.
line item thing? Okay.
No, I'm talking.
No, I would think that if somebody comes in with those qualifications, this is what we would be saying, like, this is what they would be offered. That's the only way to do it.
What we might call starting, or our basic, or I don't know what term you use for it, but, or more, or something like that, or when you put it in a salary ordinance like that, and you put a number down, does that mean that we have to pay people that and can't pay them more?
So I think you would have the opportunity to add additional compensation if they had additional skill sets.
Absolutely.
Or above a base certification.
Yeah, we would just be amending the salary
Right,
ordinance at that
and part of
point.
that could be years of service or, experience.
Right.
Right, as opposed to just having met the level, but then having someone that's served, 10 or 12 years in that level.
Yeah, and none of the folks that we have hired are at a bare minimum base either. So
Right.
there isn't something saying that we might have a brand new EMT that you guys might choose to start at 47.5 until they gain some experience in another certification.
could make another copy for you if you'd like, Steve. Are you gonna vote on that?
I'm gonna read this out loud a little bit.
Yep,
if you
go
don't
for it.
mind. Sure. Says, so to establish the salary ordinance for 2026 as the following: trustee, $20,350, each board member individually, $1,250. The fire chief is outlined in the fire contract. Part-time employees, $14 to $16 an hour based upon qualifications. Full-time employee basic EMT, $47,500. Full-time employee advanced EMT, $49,000. Full-time employee EMT / firefighter, $50,000. Administrative assistant, $7,000. That's it.
I move that we approve and adopt the salary ordinance for 2026.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you.
Thanks for wading through that.
No, no problem.
Appreciate that.
No problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I've got the library contract in front of you all. So as of November 24th, so this has even been a few weeks ago that I got these numbers, so I expect that they've likely changed. $4,075.50 has been spent at the library out of the township funds. So there was only $108.50 remaining. So I would propose that we execute the contract for the 4,000 and send them the full 4,000 to bring that back up, for people who want to start going in January and getting their library cards.
And if we need to add more later on, we can.
We would be doing an appropriation of some kind, yes, but we budgeted 4,000 and I'd say let's just send them the full 4 and bring the funding back up.
Okay, I'm good with that. I'll make a motion, or we can use your motion if you want to do that. That we appropriate $4,000 for that purpose. All in favor, say aye.
Let's get a second.
Oh, sorry, second.
Did you want a second?
Oh, second.
Okay, there we go. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, 3-0.
I think it might be set for my signature. I just wanted to have the contract there for you guys. If I'm not mistaken, it's for the trustee.
We don't need to sign that.
Nope.
No.
I am hoping down the road that we can become like other townships.
That is on the springtime agenda that we will
Yes.
be discussing that for future years. That, remember we had mentioned, we had one resident who said, you know, would you guys consider doing full funding like the other, like Polk Township, they fully fund it. And that was let's table it until the spring and discuss it then. So that will be coming back around. So.
Okay, fire contract.
So you guys have the contract, I believe.
I
Emily
can
sent you guys,
pull it over, hang on, let's see if we can.
there's only a couple changes that I've proposed. So one of them is
There we go.
page 2, section 3, under funding.
And I can pull it up on the screen here too for you all.
Originally it said, to pay up to 30 members, $175 car and $175 clothing allowance, so $350 per person. We've added in that the car and clothing allowance is paid to those members that meet the fire department standards to receive the compensation. So as what we have done in our bylaws, there wasn't anything in when I got on the fire department 25 years ago. And then about 15 years ago, they put in a 15% number that you would be reviewed on at a quarterly rate quarterly basis, and they would vote you off the department if you didn't make at least 15% of the runs. So when I came in as fire chief about 8 years ago or so, I didn't really like that. There were some people that jobs changed, families changed, some things happened to where I didn't necessarily want to get rid of that experience as long as they were still somewhat active, but I didn't feel like they should be getting the full car and clothing allowance. So I changed it to, or I proposed a change and the body voted on a change. So our bylaws read that in order to get the car and clothing allowance, you have to make 15% of the functions. Functions being calls, trainings, work details, business meetings. And I guess just to put that in perspective, this year of through 450 or 60 runs, that was like 76 calls. Because we've had that many trainings, we had 28 trainings, I think, this year. Meetings, obviously we have 12 or 13 meetings. I've called an extra meeting here and there, work details to get ready for things. I'm not sure that I'm completely satisfied with how that's working out, but for right now, that's a department issue to handle under the bylaws. And I guess the reason I'm not real satisfied with that is because out of 27 or 28 members, only 17 met that 15% standard, which isn't a great percentage in my mind. That's a whole nother discussion of why some of it's the people that live close enough, get in a truck and go on a medical call. Why would somebody that lives 4 miles away drive up here just to be here and fill out a form? So I get it. They don't want to get out of bed in the middle of the night to come to a call.
When they're not going on the call.
Yeah, when they're not getting
gonna
to
sit at the
function as a
station.
firefighter. So I'm not sure how I want to work that out. I'm just not real happy with the number right now. But back to the contract. So it said that we were going to pay that sum up to 30 members plus 37,000 in compensation.
Yes.
So, and then there was some discussion, and I didn't hear any of the discussion that Emily had with you members at the time. I don't know how you felt about that, what you had intended. I don't know if anybody remembers the discussion. So, so I had changed it and proposed 35,000 in compensation plus car and clothing allowance for up to 30 members. Now, I produced those statistics to Emily and showed her that we only paid 17 members that car and clothing. So for budgetary purposes, that makes it a little ambiguous. How do we budget for that, not knowing how many people are going to meet that minimum standard to collect car and clothing?
At most, it would be 10,500
Yes, if all 30 people met the
qualified.
standard. So I don't know if you guys like this proposal or if you guys, as the members, would like it to have a more set number and say, this is the number that it's going to be every year, and then we figure it out from there. I would say that if you guys wanted to change it to that verbiage, I would say it probably should be in the at least 42,000 range. So is how the membership is paid is we take total number of activities. So say I made, and I happened to make the most calls this year of the volunteers. Al made more runs total than I did, but a lot of those were during paid hours of part-time work. So we take the total number of activities made by each member, add those all together, ended up 2,700 and something this year.
775.
Divide that by the total dollar amount. And that comes up with $12.15 per call this year is what we were paid. And that's a little over double what it was last year, even with the number of calls. So the more runs we have, the more trainings we have, the more members that make all of those activities,
The less
the
money.
less money each call is worth. So it originally ended up a little higher than that, but then we had to refigure it 2 different times to figure out the payroll tax
Taxes.
that the employer has to pay. So we subtracted that out. I think it ended up being, what did we say, about 5,000?
Between 5 and 6.
Almost
We're
$5,000 or just over $5,000 in payroll taxes that the employer is responsible for. So we took that out of the
amount that they give.
37,000 and then figured out how to pay everybody their amount. So as far as compensation, car and clothing, those were kind of my 2 options, was this way, or if you guys were more comfortable knowing what that number was going to be paid every year, then we would just make it one amount and then we would take the car and clothing out of that amount.
I think I like having them separate. You know, if we need to increase clothing and,
A line item, then we, just like we've done a line item appropriation this evening, it's not the end of the world to need to do that.
And one year, I think Mr. Davenport was the only board member on that. I don't know if Mr. Barber was or not, but a few years ago, Chelsea was still the trustee and gas
Mr.
prices
Barber
went to like over
Yeah.
$5 a gallon.
That was in
And I come to the
2022.
board like halfway through the year and said, hey, can
we did.
we get some money to, because it was costing us money.
Money
We weren't just volunteering, it was costing us
Losing a
money
lot
just
of
to
money
drive
for
up here a
fuel.
call.
Right.
And so you guys have always been awesome and flexible that way. I just, whatever you guys are comfortable with in a contract, so in that setting.
So the 2 amounts really aren't that far apart.
No.
But I just, if you wanna balance off, you feel that if someone is truly putting out extra effort, they deserve more. I think that system works best. So, either way, it's not gonna make per run that much difference, 50
No.
cents a run difference, but, if you think we need to go to a little bit higher amount than that 35, didn't you say 40?
Well,
If you were going to do away with the car and clothing,
Okay,
so right now it's
Separation.
35 plus car and clothing.
okay,
I was saying if you guys just wanted one set number that you were gonna pay us, then we would take out the car and clothing out of that amount
and we would remove that language and just have a
and just
dollar
make it
amount.
$1 amount.
and you're proposing that amount to be how much?
42?
42,000? It's a wash.
Yes, yep.
Yeah.
I think it was about 6,
It would potentially be if all 30 members,
yeah.
then okay, we'd end up being at 45-ish instead of 42.
I think this year you gave
But-
us, it ended up being
42,950.
42, yeah.
42,950
Yeah.
in car and clothing, and then,
Yeah.
so it was simply just for whatever you guys are comfortable with in a contract. If you want if you're okay with the unknown dollar amount for car and clothing of how many members are gonna meet that, then this is fine. If you want a 100% solid dollar amount so that there's not that ambiguity in there, then
I like the differentiation almost because I think it makes it clearer what you are going to do with the money.
okay.
So leave it as is.
I would almost, because otherwise, okay, if we cut them a check for $42,000, but we don't know what they're gonna do with that $42,000. Here we do.
Yes, we do.
We know exactly what they're going to do with it.
You're right. That's fine.
Works for me. So,
one more thing here.
Sure.
I don't wanna change anything there, I like what's there. What I'm wondering about is to consider for next year, just consider, since the chief is paid a specific sum, and you're taking out payroll taxes, that doesn't exactly fit volunteer, does it? It's almost like a part-time job. Right? It's like-
That's why he's on the salary ordinance. He's an employee.
Okay, so
of the township.
I'm wondering if that would be like a separate little tiny section.
I can split it out if you'd like, fire
I-
chief
I
pay.
don't-
That's fine with me. If that would make you more comfortable, that's not a problem for me to pull that down to another paragraph.
I don't know, do you have any thoughts on
That's
that?
always been kind of a gray area.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With discussions with Chelsea in the past, discussions with Emily, other
Yeah.
board members, it's, no, I'm not necessarily on the salary ordinance, it just,
Well, it says
I'm listed
you're
on there,
paid,
but
you're
I'm
paid
paid
per the
by
contract.
the contract.
Yeah.
and so what would happen if the last two sentences were put in a new paragraph?
Then we just put them in a new paragraph and re-letter them. Like it's truly, that it would not make any difference to the contract whatsoever if you would rather see it separated.
I don't know, what are your thoughts? By
Yeah,
picking at gnats?
I think it's all listed as funding and volunteer allowances,
Yeah.
so, but
If it's a volunteer allowance, leave it as is.
It comes out of volunteer officer line item on the budget.
Okay, let's leave it as it is.
Okay.
I added in the $2,000 for volunteer officers. We've budgeted this, we even budgeted this for this
for this
current
past
fiscal
year,
year.
but we didn't have it.
really have the means to pay it out. It wasn't in the fire contract anywhere.
Yep.
I did put in there per our bylaws, so our bylaws need to add that section in there of how that's going to be paid out. We don't have that done yet. But I did put in there that the chief will be excluded from receiving any of that $2,000 compensation. The chief's already paid elsewhere. This is for the under officers below the fire chief.
For the assistant chief, captain,
Yeah.
safety officer, training officers.
Yep. So, and that's a good start. The officers or the body will have to have a meeting and decide how they want that in our bylaws, and I can represent that to you once it's done. And then we attempted to raise the fire chief's pay $1,000. And it ended up $666.66.
So we put it at 8,012.
We added
So
$1
that-
a month, so it
So that
wasn't-
way it wouldn't be the $666.66, because that just seemed like a bad omen. So,
And
Good man.
and is that 80-12 reflected in the salary ordinance, or?
it's, the salary ordinance says that that this fire
Oh,
chief is
yeah,
paid
that's-
per the contract,
Yeah.
so.
that's good.
There has been a number of days, weeks, and even months that I've said, maybe
isn't-
my idea of a volunteer chief isn't gonna work out. Things are getting easier, but I'm still dealing with a lot of fire department stuff every day. But the administrative help has,
That made a huge
yes,
difference.
we've made a joke out of it. He's Emily's
Executive assistant.
administrative assistant or something like that, but things are getting better and easier. The staff is learning what's expected. I've had to have talk with a couple of them about some issues and working through those things. Being self-employed, I have the flexibility to make sure I can get things taken care of. So it's working out and getting easier, but it was rough for a while.
Yeah.
So.
And so,
Good to hear.
just a couple of comments. First regarding that. What I've encouraged people I've worked with in the past to consider is not just how they are managing their time and the pressure and that sort of thing, but when supervisors are considering, how much work to put on an individual, you have to think into the future. What's gonna happen? Is the next chief gonna be able to do that? And so I don't know that they would. I don't know that it's fair.
Yeah.
And so the follow-up question to that for you to consider is, what do you want the fire department, the fire territory, what do you want that to look like in 5 years?
For sure.
and continue to kind of move in that direction.
Yep, and it's the same thing. What happens to my position if he up and leaves? You know, I don't have currently another person on the department that would step into the position he's doing.
Right.
And so that's, I don't deny how important that is, how valuable that is, so.
He had a hard time putting even the increase in the contract for
Yeah.
himself, though.
Yeah.
I mean, because he said, this isn't an election year for the chief either, so, he knew that, like, he's basically saying, this is for myself.
The
So
other thing-
delegating isn't a good thing when you try to make your life easier.
Oh,
It's, delegating is easy.
Easier?
Yeah, it helps. He knows, and he's been a fire chief before here, so he knows. It's just there's so much extra with the fire territory going on, and a meeting every month or 2 meetings every month, plus the fire department meetings, plus the trainings, the county fire meeting, just trying to keep and then the trainings, going to extra schools. Him and I both spent a lot of time in class this year, and I'm by far from done this year.
there are countless weeks where he's busy either Monday night, Wednesday night, or there have been weeks where it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's just constant.
And it's, now that I have paid staff, I'm okay pushing some of that stuff off on them because now they're employees. I was always so hesitant to expect too much over and above on the volunteers because some of them do a really good job and spend a lot of time here anyway. So, and I kind of take that as a leadership role, and it's my responsibility to make sure those things happen, so. And I'm paid for it, so. The only other part that we changed,
Let me get my mouse over there so I can scroll.
4,
Thank you.
letter C.
Good standing.
Fire department as an independent contractor must remain in good standing with the IRS and the state of Indiana, and it's responsible for maintaining its filings for 501c3 status. And you guys may require me to prove that at any time that you feel it's necessary.
Is that an annual certification?
Yeah, and it's not super difficult. As long as we file our taxes and do our E1 entity report, it's not that we have to reapply or renew our 501c3.
It
As long
just
as you
stays
maintain
active.
your entity, you're okay.
Well, I greatly appreciate your inclusion of this in there, and I don't look for it to be an issue, but I like that it's
In there.
now.
My first year as chief, we paid a bunch of money to get it back. So there has been chiefs in the past that have let it slip. And whether it be didn't know how, didn't catch it, didn't know,
Didn't realize what the
Yeah.
requirements were. I mean,
and it's something I had to learn when I started too, so.
And your tax people probably help you with that now, or not?
There's not a lot of good accountants that know what to do with a 501c3.
Okay.
I did give you a name
Yeah,
of someone though,
Okay.
so.
so, and Justin Bowen, one of our volunteers and part-time people, works for another business and does most of their bookkeeping stuff, and so she's pretty slick with QuickBooks and keeping up all the proper payroll taxes and all that stuff, and so officers and I have had a couple meetings about what to do with our treasurer position and things, and try and maybe make 2 treasurers. Al does a great job, it's just the computer is a little much for him. And just like it is me, she does most of my business payroll stuff because
Most.
yes. So, and changing some of our policies for our finances too, so it's something that we're trying to make better. But I think those are the only changes that we
Yeah, that's what
went through and found.
was it.
All right, having discussed that, we have a recommendation or motion to accept the contract.
I move that we approve the contract for fire protection and emergency response service.
Okay,
I second the motion.
motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay,
Very much appreciated.
So now you gotta take it to the
Thank
town. Okay,
Steve, does the town have a town meeting Thursday?
What's that?
Does the town have a meeting Thursday, do you know?
is it the,
Or was it last, it was last Thursday?
it's on the sign out front.
Is it?
is it,
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
tomorrow's Thursday, yeah.
I wasn't
Jeez
planning to
Louise.
go to.
Okay, no, that's fine.
So then we've got, I'll let you guys sign, sorry. I'll be quiet. Check. What do we have on there for signatures? Do I have it right? Fire department.
So, this is just
You,
this me.
Yep.
Okay.
yep,
All on you.
Very good. All right. Next item,
another one of our annuals, the capital asset ledger policy that just says that, yes, we do in fact have a capital asset ledger policy. Anything over and above $5,000 goes on our capital asset ledger policy. Same thing as every year.
And
in the list is presented with the,
With the annual file, the annual report.
okay.
Yep,
So we've got a bunch of additions this year.
we do. So, which I've done for like the air packs, it's all being lumped as like, these are the SCBA air packs.
Right.
Rather than each individual air pack. There's going to be the addition of the heart monitor, the cot and load system, the Lucas devices, all of those things that will be added to the capital asset
Fan.
policy. Yep, the fan as well. I think I actually did add that one on there. Yep,
will we get a list at the first meeting in January? of
you'll get it with the annual report,
the report?
which will not be at the first meeting of the year.
Right.
I apologize.
No, no, that's fine, that's fine.
But
No
yes,
worries.
yep, I will be working on all of that.
Okay. So do we need a motion on this?
I don't know that you have to, but
Do you need serial numbers?
I will for that, yeah.
Work on that for you. Now that I know where they're all at,
They might be on the POs, I'm not positive
I'll
though.
just get them right off the thing because they may never.
Okay.
Who knows?
I guess I'll make a motion that we
Sure.
just continue to use the capital asset ledger policy as currently being used by the township.
Perfect,
That's my motion.
thank
I
you.
second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
We'll take down there too. All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Right,
You can go ahead.
my updates. Oh, still waiting, to hear back on the 1782 notice from the state. The original response that I had gotten was, well, if you can give us with an IC code that says we can consider an exemption, then we'll consider an exemption, regarding the equipment replacement fund. And so I had cited for them, like, this is what I was finding for the IC code, but I'm gonna go based on the assumption that this is not gonna be sufficient, in which case I would just like for you to consider the alternative of increasing the territory general levy, the 0.0333, to account for the loss of the equipment replacement fund levy. They haven't responded to that yet. And I had also followed up in the email with the inquiry of, okay, they set this September 30th is a hard deadline for the capital asset policy. I can't even remember what it's called now because we have so many things that all have this similar sounding names. Regardless, we have a September 30th deadline for that. Is there a no earlier than Because if it's something that we can adopt at the beginning of the year when we do the annual report, then we will just do that and avoid having any issue in future, because it will just be one of those inclusive things that we do all of these things at the beginning of the year. I'm waiting to hear back from that. My assumption, I don't want to assume anything, but we may get back a no, you have to do it during budget season or something along those lines. But I'd like to execute it at the beginning of the year if we're able to. So waiting to hear on that. Still have a few outstanding things to pay, like we haven't gotten the invoices yet for the cot and load system. I was waiting to pay the Lucas devices until we get word from the state about the rainy day fund. But as of yesterday, we were at, up here. The fire fund, the territory fund is at 54% of the submitted budget. So, see, the township is at 56% from the general fund. Township assistance is at 22%. So total funds spent across all funds as of yesterday was $637,510.86. But again, that doesn't include the Lucas devices or the cot and load.
So that outstanding amount is probably another,
For the cot, Lucas devices, all of that, it's 142.
okay, so you're gonna be at seven.
I think it was, when I had figured it last night, it was close to, I think it was 69%.
Yeah,
But that was with the Lucas devices coming out of the territory fund, so if they're not, then it would be a little bit less than that. It would be setting. I think that's really all I have at this point. I think we've pretty much hammered everything else out.
anything else?
The fan that we purchased, we were up into almost 7,000. I ended up getting that for 5,900, 58 and change, so about $1,000 less than I had anticipated. I think that's it.
Alice, Allison, anything in mind? I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So we just want to make note of the next meetings
Okay.
first.
Yep.
And we've got 2 of those already scheduled
We do,
in January.
yes, so
I'll include those.
and they're being advertised as well in the pilot. So, the first meeting of the year is January 6th,
Right.
which is the first Tuesday after the first Monday per the Indiana law. And then we will have a joint meeting with the town of LaPaz on January 14th at 6 o'clock, followed immediately by a township meeting where we will be hearing the annual report information.
I'll move. to
Okay,
adjourn.
I second.
moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Start time.